Hello, I am Marcus and welcome to Marcus Talks. Today I will be doing a review of Pokemon Legends Arceus, the first action RPG in the Pokemon series, mainline series, whatever you want to call it. I will be doing this mostly unscripted with pointers with the game still fresh in my mind, and I will just jump right into what I think. First, I'll start with an explanation of the story. You have been sent to the past by the quote unquote god of the Pokemon world, Arceus, to a different time period of the Sinnoh region, currently known as the Hisui region. There, you have to find a way to get back to your own time and stop frenzied Pokemon that have never been seen before, as well as catalog the Pokemon of the region. There you will meet the members of the Galaxy Expedition team and be taken in by them. Part of your duties are to catch and research all the Pokemon of the region. You will meet members of the native clans of the Hisui region, the Diamond Clan and the Pearl Clan, both claiming to worship a deity of the same name, but both claim that it has different priorities and powers, therefore leading to conflict between the two. As you venture throughout the Hisui region, you will find noble Pokemon who have been frenzied by lightning shot out of a space-time rift over the mountain in the region. It is your duty to quell the frenzied Pokemon and return them to their normal state. Alright, on to gameplay. Gameplay. The gameplay of Pokemon Legends Arceus is different than any Pokemon game before it. There are no random encounters of any kind in this game. The first of its kind to do this. You don't have to battle a Pokemon to catch it. You can simply coax it out with food, hide, and throw Pokeballs at it until you finally catch it. Some of the Pokemon will become enraged, you invading their natural habitat, and start attacking you. Another first for the series. The catching mechanics are probably some of the best, or at least my favorite parts of this game. It feels so good to throw food, berries, rice cakes to try and coax them out and distract them as you're trying to catch them. And when you finally do catch it, it feels so good. One downside of this is that your storage for where you keep caught Pokemon becomes very full very quick, and you don't have a simple way of accessing that other than going to any of the NPCs that tell you what Pokemon you have. Thankfully, releasing is very easy, and overall, the method of storage is the same as it used to be, being very simple with boxes, except here they're referred to as pastures because computers don't exist. The battling mechanics for Pokemon battles, both in the wild and with other trainers, which are very few and far between, uh, are very interesting. It no longer relies off of the tried and true method of you both determine what moves you're going to make, and then, based on whoever's faster, will move first. No. In this game, you have an action order in the top right of the screen showing who gets to move when and how many times they get to move. So, breaking series tradition, someone could get to move 2 times in a row if their speed is fast enough, making battling a bit more action oriented. This I think is very cool, but bothers me to some degree because setup moves were a big part of older Pokemon games. Setting up your defense and disabling your opponent and even making yourself stronger for the coming battle almost go out the window here. Many setup moves have actually been changed, such as the move Stealth Rock, which used to lay down rocks on your opponent's side of the field, and then if they swapped a Pokemon in, they would take damage immediately to discourage them from switching constantly. Here, Stealth Rock acts more like a poison or burning effect, where every time your opponent takes a move after getting hit by it, they take damage. Just some interesting changes, I thought. One thing I don't like about the battle mechanics is how strong every single move is. In older games, it could take, if you were lucky, one attack to take out your opponent if you got the type matchup correct. Here, it takes about maybe 2 to 3 hits with even not very effective moves to take out your opponent, which bothers me a little bit because almost every battle I got into, I would drop Pokemon left and right because I lost my one good one for the situation at hand because the opponent had a move that just took it out in one hit. And now I can't do anything. It just feels very lopsided and a little too fast. I did appreciate that battles were at the very least difficult at times, something the older games didn't have. In fact, I think Ruby and Sapphire on the Game Boy Advance, back when Pokemon was still relatively difficult, can't claim this. Okay, and I have some bigger problems with the gameplay and the battling. You can't battle other players online. For some odd reason, they just did not include this. You finally make a new battle system, and you don't allow players to make teams to battle each other in even more interesting ways. This is just so. Why would you do this? You spent all this time making a new system, and you don't even allow your players to experiment with it more. I hope that if they release a new version or a sequel, at least another game in the style, that they rectify this or update this current game to include battling with other players online. One change I thought was very nice was no more trade evolutions. You can do them that way if you want to, but trading is no longer a thing that you need to do to get certain evolutions, such as Graveler to Golem used to be you have to trade with someone. Now there is an item that any trade evolution can be dealt with very quickly. But with this came some other problems. Held items no longer exist for some reason. So Scyther is a bug flying type Pokemon that, when traded, could be evolved if it was holding an item called a Steel Coat, which boosts the power of Steel type moves. Now you just give Scyther a Steel Coat and it becomes Caesar, its trade evolution. But there are no more held items. Held items were a very big part of making the battle system have more depth to it. You could choose whether or not your Pokemon's moves could be boosted, how much their defense could be raised, whether or not they'd be taken out in one hit, whether they dealt damage to your opponent when getting hit. It's so much depth that was just lost right there. Another problem I have with the gameplay is they also took out Pokemon breeding in this game, which was a big part of experimenting and building up your teams. It led to making stronger Pokemon that you couldn't catch in the wild. It, most of my problems are with things they took out for seemingly no reason. They added crafting and item collection in this game, much like Breath of the Wild. This I think they handled pretty well, even better than The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild here, because the items you collect actually feel useful and not just for cooking some food every once in a while. No, you actually get to make your Pokeballs to catch Pokemon. The food items that you use to persuade them to come out, it actually feels very well done here. And you actually have to be careful as to what you bring with you because you have a limited inventory space. Alright, I think I've talked about gameplay enough. Time to talk about the music of the game. I have nothing negative to say about the music overall. It's Pokemon music. I don't know how they could have gone wrong with it. Uh, unless someone can explain to me in the comments what they could have done wrong with this Pokemon music. The main village that you are in eventually becomes a city, practically. Jubilife Village, a city in the Sinnoh region, which is the future version of the Hisui region. And over time, the song eventually becomes the regular Jubilife City theme, which I thought was a very nice touch. When being attacked by Pokemon, it gets a little repetitive because I'd rather be listening to the actual theme of the area I'm in. When you're in the overworld, just exploring, trying to find Pokemon to catch, you don't get to listen to that area's theme because it happens so infrequently. And when you do get to hear it, it gets interrupted because a Pokemon that wants to be aggressive spotted you, and now you have the being attacked by Pokemon theme playing instead. Or, and what are the odds I get interrupted while talking about how the good music gets interrupted? That's actually kind of funny. But the music gets interrupted while you're searching for Pokemon because many of the battle or being chased themes override the area's music, which was a little disappointing because I rarely got to hear the area's music unless I was just sitting somewhere doing nothing. Okay, the graphics of the game are a mixed bag. Overall, they look pretty good, but there are some noticeable areas that could have used a lot more work, such as a Pokemon off in the distance, such as a anything that it is a bird. Its flapping animation becomes extremely choppy, basically almost like a flip book. So that was a little annoying. Sometimes during cutscenes, even terrain would just take time to load properly, which is disappointing. Sometimes you could see shadows through floors, which is an odd graphical glitch. In the village that you play through most of the game, the headquarters for the Galaxy Expedition team, you can notice in the basement area shadows of people standing on the first floor, but not in the basement. Just small nitpicks here and there. Overall, the game looks very nice and goes very well with the old Japanese aesthetic. The game's replayability, honestly, I'm not quite sure. The game feels like a one and done with how story driven it is, and continuously playing the same save file, it just feels a little weird. I like this game. I don't hate this game, but if I were to replay it again from the beginning, the story would bog it down a lot. It's very fun to just catch Pokemon, but researching them is required for certain parts of the game, and that feels tedious to do over and over again. So I don't think I could replay this game if that was such a big part of it. And it is. So if they rework this style of game, I think it could be one of the most replayable forms of Pokemon yet. Even though the original games are still some of the most replayable because of how the story doesn't bog them down, at least the first three or so games. It's very easy to just pick up, oh, I'm going to get to this part. Maybe I'll stumble across a story cutscene, which is barely anything, and I'll get on with my time. Here, the very beginning is so story driven. Even the middle portion is so story driven. It bogs it down a lot. So I just don't think this game is very replayable. And I'd like to take a second to talk about this game's reception and some of my personal thoughts on it. Overall, this game has received, from what I've seen, the average person playing it, extreme critical acclaim. And I just don't see where these people are coming from exactly. I feel like they're so blinded by the fact that this game just did something new compared to the traditional games. These are just my personal thoughts. I like the game, but I don't understand why everyone thinks that this is what Pokemon should be forever from now on. It was a nice experiment, and I think they can fine tune it to be even better next time. But I don't see this being Pokemon forever. I feel like this should be another version of the mainline games. We still have the normal games where occasional random encounters and the normal battle system, and then have this on the side, not as a side series spin-off, but as a mainline action RPG series for those who enjoy this style more. Because I think the people who were dedicated to playing the original games enjoyed that battle system and the depth it brought with it. And actually being able to control what your team is able to do way more than this. And if there's any questionable content in this game, I feel I should air it here. The game has a made up religion in it, multiple made up religions, possibly, if you look at it a certain way, with both the Diamond and Pearl clan worshipping the almighty Sinnoh, as they refer to it the entire time, being Dialga and Palkia for the Diamond and Pearl clans, respectively. They believe in a god of the same name and believe it has different powers, which I think could be a good teaching moment for some kids as to religious differences, even within similar religions, such as how Christianity and Catholicism, well, Catholics claim to be Christian, which I'm not saying they aren't. They have very different viewpoints on certain topics as far as what he is, who he is, and what he does. So I think this could be a good teaching moment for younger children who don't quite understand religion. Not teach them that this is a real religion. Explain to them with this as an example compared to real world religions. And with that out of the way, I am going to score this game. I give Pokemon Legends Arceus a 6 out of 10. I like it a lot. I will probably continue to play it after this, but there was too many issues for me to give it a higher rank. I look forward to seeing this possible Legends mainline series continue, but this game had too many glaring issues that I can't overlook. Thank you for listening this far. Please like, comment, subscribe for more game reviews, and check out my Facebook page if you want updates on upcoming videos. Okay, thank you, and I hope you have a good day. And if you play this game or have played it, please let me know down in the comments what your thoughts on it were.